first lesson of this course, we talked about religion, ethnic origin, and gender as the key categories to define a collective's identity. Those who do not belong to the us so defined are treated as the others, infidels, heathen, Gentiles, inferiors, and the like, and have traditionally been discriminated against. Discrimination has been even more intense regarding persons belonging to a minority sexual orientation, with some historical exceptions. Derogatory expressions have been used to label them. However, the power of words being what it is, just as discrimination has been reinforced by the use of epithets, the fight against discrimination also relies on non-discriminatory language. As mentioned in the first lesson, there are no international treaties currently in force dealing specifically with issues of gender identity and sexual orientation. The applicable international references are only a few years old. They consist of some resolutions which are non-legally binding recommendations on states by the General Assembly of the Organization of American States and by the UN Human Rights Council. There is also the mention of sexual orientation in conventions against discrimination. Predating these developments, in 2006, the International Commission of Jurists and the International Service for Human Rights convened a meeting of experts from different countries to draft guidelines on the application of human rights regarding sexual orientation and gender identity. These experts met in Yogyakarta, Indonesia, and approved the Yogyakarta Principles on the application of international human rights in relation to sexual orientation and gender identity. These principles quickly became quite influential. They may contribute to define much of the content of future binding norms. In a study published in November of 2015 on violence against lesbians, gays, bisexuals, trans and intersex people in Latin America, the Inter-American Commission of Human Rights relied on the terminology provided in 2004 by the LGBT Resource Center of the University of California in Riverside. In what follows, we provide some basic concepts and definitions taken from these and other sources. In the section of complementary material of this lesson, we have included a more extensive glossary of relevant terms regarding gender equality and sexual diversity. The basic contents are as follows. Gender, according to the opinion of leading personalities in the field of gender studies, such as Simone de Beauvoir and Judith Butler, gender is a socially constructed system of classifications that ascribes qualities of masculinity and femininity to people. Gender characteristics can change over time and may vary among cultures. Gender is also identified as a complex system of roles, expressions, identities, performances, and more, which are given gendered meaning by a society and usually assigned to people based on the appearance of their sex characteristics at birth. Gender identity from the Yogyakarta Principles. Each person's deeply felt internal and individual experience of gender which may or may not correspond with the sex assigned at birth, including the personal sense of the body, which may involve, if freely chosen, modification of bodily appearance or function by medical, surgical, or other means, and other expressions of gender, including dress, speech, and mannerisms. Sexual orientation from the Yogyakarta principles. Each person's capacity for profound emotional, affectional, and sexual attraction to, and to intimate and have sexual relations with individuals of a different gender or the same gender or more than one gender. It is important to stress out that under Yogyakarta Principle 18, a person's sexual orientation and gender identity shall never be regarded in and of themselves as medical conditions to be treated, cured, or suppressed. LGBTQIA, a common acronym for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, asexual community. It is used as an umbrella term when talking about non-heterosexual and non-cisgender identities, and does not always reflect the self-perception of members of the respective community. Homosexual, an out-of-date term for a person who is primarily emotionally, physically, and/or sexually attracted to members of the same sex. Many people view this term as offensive in that it is excessively clinical and sexualizes people. Heteronormativity, the assumption that everyone is heterosexual and/or that heterosexuality is superior to homosexuality, bisexuality, and other sexual orientation. Heterosexual, men who experience sexual, romantic, physical, and/or spiritual attraction to women and vice versa, also known as straight, a commonly used antonym for gay. Homophobia, the irrational fear, hatred, or intolerance of people who identify or are perceived as non-heterosexual, including the fear of being read as part of the gay community. Homophobic behavior can range from telling gay jokes to verbal abuse to acts of physical violence. Gay, a term used in some cultural settings to characterize men who are attracted to men in a romantic, erotic, and/or emotional sense. It could also be used as an umbrella term for sexual orientations that fall outside the straight heterosexual orientation. Queer, an umbrella term which includes lesbian, gay men, bisexuals, trans people, intersex persons, radical sex communities, and many other sexually transgressive communities. Trans, an abbreviation that is used to refer to a transgender, genderqueer, gender non-conforming person. This use allows a person to state a gender identity without having to disclose hormonal or surgical status or intentions. This term is sometimes used to refer to the whole gender non-conforming community. It is well known that in most societies, women outnumber men by a small percentage. On the other hand, it is also known that there are slightly more male than female newborns, yet the life expectancy of women is higher than that of men. As to the percentage of the population of a non-majority sexual orientation, this is a matter of controversy. Advocates of sexual diversity tend to estimate a high percentage and adversaries a low one, with the scientists somewhere in between. We encourage you to consult the above-mentioned study of 2015 by the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights and to use the terminology. It should be pointed out, nevertheless, that regarding issues which concern vocal minority movements, the correct or politically correct terminology tends to change with certain frequency. Actually, it is rather often the case that an outsider, using what he or she thinks it is the correct terminology, finds it is not longer in use. Thank you for watching this lesson. Please do not forget to visit our website mooccchile.com, and we kindly invite you to watch the next class of this course.